So I just stumbled across a take on an anime that's very popular that really isn't too good. And it's not really the fact that the take is not good, it's more the reasons they give for that take. This was in a new CBR article where the title is Why Attack on Titan is Overhyped. Now I'm sure there's plenty of people that think this, and I'm not knocking you for thinking that's your opinion, but the way that this article just tries to justify this take is awful. Legit, the first reason they use to justify this take is that the plot isn't unique, which is like the last thing you can say about Attack on Titan. When I'm recommending Attack on Titan to someone, most of the time it's cause the plot is something I've never seen before. Now, the Titans may not necessarily be something unique as you have like Gundam and stuff like that in the history of manga and anime, but the lore of Attack on Titan with the kings, with the Eldians, and all the stuff that just happens in the stories, the numerous plot twists, the story just goes in directions you don't expect it to go. You can't say the plot isn't unique. That's just not a reason that you can justify this take. Anyone who's watched or read Attack on Titan knows this, and even if you're not a fan of the series, I'm sure you wouldn't say that the plot isn't unique, cause it most definitely is. The first time I sat down and watched Attack on Titan was really because I said to myself, I'd never seen an anime that was like this before, and I'm kind of struggling to find something like it, except for Kaiju number 8, which is an anime that which is a manga that I talked about recently in one of my videos. Now let's get on to the second reason why they say that Attack on Titan isn't the best anime. The second reason is the story takes too long to become quote unquote good. Now I think this is such a wild thing to say because I think this whole reason is spun out of the last couple seasons, how the last couple seasons have been so crazy and that nobody was expecting it to get like this good. But I think it's wrong to say that the anime wasn't good from the start. I think it's more accurate to say that we just weren't expecting the anime to go in this direction, and that's because the plot was unique and that we couldn't see it coming. We didn't know about these Eldians, we didn't know about the history of the Titans, we didn't know how intricate this plot was. So to say that it becomes good later on is definitely a fact, but it was good from the start. From the start you had these little mysteries about what was in the basement, what these Titans meant, like what were the Titans in the walls. You had these mysteries already, and those are the only mysteries you were worrying about, but those mysteries were enough to get you through the first couple seasons, and they definitely were good mysteries that you were waiting to be solved. But towards the end, it becomes a whole different type of plot. It's not just about that, it's about a whole human type issue. It's about genocide, it's about kings, it's about torture, it's about anything that relates to the human condition. It becomes something way bigger than itself. So personally, I think they were mistaking the story for becoming good at the end for just the story heading in a different direction they weren't expecting it to head. They weren't expecting the series to get this good. And the third and last reason is the violence frequently comes across as shock value fodder. And I will say this story is a really more brutal and bloody type story, but I think that's just the atmosphere of the world. I don't think that it's just there to be there. I think it's there to build up the world and see how violent and crazy this world is. But I do say maybe there is a couple moments where it could be a shock value, but to me, I feel like most of the crazy violence and stuff that happens in the series, most of the time it has a meaning. Like, I'm not going to spoil the series for you if you haven't watched the last season, but when Aaron's mom was eaten by that Titan at the beginning of the series, if you watched the last season, you know how important that moment was. That's all I'm going to say about that. For people who haven't watched the last season, please watch it and you'll figure it out. But you know how important that moment was. It may seem like shock value if you just started watching the series, but if you keep watching it, you know what that means. And that's basically why I made a video about this article, because it seems like it came from somebody who just started watching the series or dropped it after season 1, because it just seems like they're hating on it. Number one, because the reasons they gave for not liking the series wasn't really justified. And number two, they only gave 3 reasons. Like for me, if you're gonna give a series a rating of overrated, you gotta have a good amount of reasons for why it's overrated. Not just 3 reasons, and not just 3 reasons that can be debated. It has to be 3 solid reasons. And I'm not trying to take away from anybody who doesn't like Attack on Titan, but the reason this article gave was just not justified in my opinion. But let me know what you think. Drop a like, drop a comment, and tell me what you think about this series. Do you like Attack on Titan? Do you like watching this series? Do you agree with me with the points that I said? Just let me know in the comments. Drop a like, and I'm out. Deuces.